Hi everyone, it's Shell from Shell Crochet. Welcome to my October update. Welcome back, it's Shell. How are you today? I hope you're all doing well. So we're at the end of October, but before we talk about what's happened in the last couple of weeks, let's go back in time so you can hear all about my little teaser from last time, the granny square cardigan I made. Ready? Here we go. Okay, so we're back in time. It's the middle of October, and in my previous video, I explained a little bit about what I had been working on in the first couple weeks of the month. It is a granny square hooded cardigan, and we're going to talk about the yarn and the construction first, and then I'm going to show you the finished object and hopefully insert some video either here or at the end of this video of the person that it was for modeling it, which is why I couldn't show it all last time. Anyway, construction. So I spoke a little bit about the fact I had made a bunch of granny squares. If you want the history, it's in the previous video to this. The granny squares themselves were 6 inches, and then when I added the trim color to them, they became 7 inches. So I was working with that 7-inch measurement to figure out how to make a sweater in the size that I needed, which was basically a ladies large to extra large. And I figured out how to do it with the squares I had. And here's the sweater. So it's going to be awkward showing it to you this way, but hopefully again, like there will be some modeling pictures. This is the hood. So there's one side of the hood and there's the other side of the hood. And it is attached to the neck there. This is the back of the sweater. And this is the front of the sweater. One panel and the other panel. Now that I had the arm out, let me just grab that. And then the arms. One arm and the other arm. Okay, so 25 squares in total. The back has 9 squares and the front panels have 3 squares going down each. I opted to match my fronts and backs. So the brown here is matched on the back, the aqua here and the denim here. And I pulled down here the colors so that at the bottom of the sleeve, those two go together. And then on this side, those two go together. I had a lot of fun playing with the color and figuring out how to make it organized chaos in such a way that it worked that I liked it. So hook was a 6.5 millimeter throughout. And I used whip stitching for a lot of it, but I actually did do join as you go here on the front and back panels because I got an extra row of my joining color that way. So it gave me a little bit of extra ease, if you will. And I thought it was really neat because you could base all of this off the size of your granny squares. I think the preferred construction would be to do smaller squares and have the back be a panel of 5 so that the middle one can be left out more easily. And then your front 2 sides would have 2 sets of grannies on each, but this worked out well for what I had. This is Burnout Premium. Oh, I'm pointing too low. This is Burnout Premium tweed in black tweed. And I had 2 skeins of it, and it got me through the construction of the squares and putting all of the sweater together. So that was great. I wanted to get those 2 skeins used up, and I was able to do that. And yeah, I learned a lot from doing this. And I think the person it's going to is really going to appreciate it for what it is. It's like a jacket type hoodie thing, and you know, layer it up or wear it on its own. And I hope I really have those added pictures to let her model for you. But yeah, this was a fun make. It's a birthday present for one of my best friends. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to tell you about it. Mostly just granny stitch throughout for all the joining. There's single crochet to finish it off for the border. And yeah, had to do some reducing for the hood just to make it fit at the neck. But if you have any questions about this, maybe you guys can jog my mind by leaving me a comment in the comment section below, and we'll go from there. So this was a fairly time-consuming make in October. So there she is. Like I said, I learned a lot making that sweater, and you will see some photos at the very end of this video of it being modeled. Unfortunately, the recipient didn't make it to the little gathering we had, so she has yet to receive it. As a matter of fact, she's going to get it tomorrow. And another girlfriend of mine was nice enough to model for me, so I just have some stills for you to see at the end of this video of her modeling the sweater. But I did take a couple of pictures to help you be able to see the sweater just on a hanger while I was talking about it, so hopefully that helped, and we go from there. If you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment and I will be happy to answer. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a week's worth of work with the granny squares already made. So now we can start with our normal first item of the month that I do in the very end of the month video, which is my crochet along that I am doing the colors from Setta's calendar cowl 2021, and the project I'm making is Jayda Stitch's Mighty Mile a Minute blanket. So we are through October, and at this point it's easy to just hold it up this way. It fits barely. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold it up that way for the last two, but okay. And now let's zoom into October. So I'll pop up the picture here so you can see the calendar. And I chose to go with the golds. As always, when I'm using my solid, I am holding a fingering weight yarn together with it to give it a little bit of something extra that reminded me of the colors. I liked this stitch. I found it quite easy to do. And I will pop up the name of it at the bottom because I already forget. Actually, it's not really already. I did this like the very beginning of October, so I haven't even seen this blanket in almost 4 weeks. But she's really coming along. It's not going to be super wide, but it's already more than my body. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a little collage at the end of all the calendars with all the stitches, because I think that'll be cool. I did one for the first 6 months, and I will do one at the end of the year as well. So that one's all done. Let me know if you're participating in either one of these crochet alongs this year. I'd love to know. One other thing I mentioned in the middle of October was I just started to make the Santa sacks, gift sacks, elf sacks, whatever you want to call them. And I made 18 in total so far, 9 of which have already left the building. So I have these ones remaining. And I thought I would share with you the pattern that I'm using. It's very easy, so I'll just talk you through it. And I will hold up these two. So what I ended up doing is I'm holding worsted weight yarn doubled with a 6mm hook to keep it fairly dense still. I'm chaining 13, and then back across the chain I am single crocheting into each of the stitches, putting 3 in each of the ends, so that you have sort of that way you make a market bag, you know, how you increase your bottom to have a little bit of a bottom without doing an actual basket bottom. And then in the second round, I am doing just 2 increases in each end. So 2 stitches in each middle stitch twice. So first round single crochet, second round half double crochet. And then after I'm finished the third round, I start my double crochet so I can stay in the spiral by putting a half double with a double, and then just continuing 2 doubles in this end all the way around. And then you can see the stitches going up. So I can actually count that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of double, and when I have 7 rows of double on both sides, there's 2 different ways to make the top. The easier of the two, let me find one that has it. So you can do a traditional eyelet row to do your drawstrings, which this bag has here. So for the eyelet rows, I do half double row, and then I do 2 half doubles, chain 2, skip 2, and all the way around like that, and then a row of single on the top. And then the easier way that I found takes a lot less time, because who's got time to waste? I do a row of half double, a row of double, and then a row of single. And I just weave my chain here, my drawstring, through the doubles. Then that one just goes a lot quicker. And I do still come out of the spiral, so I still do that little bit on the end where I finish my last double. I do a half double, single, slip stitch, and then I chain up, and then I go around in half double, double, single, and then I put the chain in. And these are some beads I just got at Michael's years and years ago. It was a nice big pack, lots of different colors, and they're nice and big, so that worsted weight yarn goes through them no problem. And I just sew them shut and hide the tail within the actual stitches there. So that's a super easy little gift bag pattern. Basically, when I'm making bags, because I've followed Jayda's basket tutorials and her market bag tutorials and her little gift sack tutorials, even her little pumpkin sacks, apple sacks, all of those different things, when you learn from an expert like Jayda, there's lots of experts out there who make things like this, so whoever you like, then you can just kind of wing it and do your own thing. And that's what I did for these. So color wise, there's the 2 in the green, and then there's 3 with green and red held together, which I think looks kind of cute as well. Those are both topped with Bernat Premium in a Aran Sparkle, which has a gold streamer running through it. And actually there was 3 of the greens. And then I decided to make some that were not in Christmas colors, in case there's people who need to give gifts that are not doing Christmas. And the silver and plain Aran are already gone, but I made a plain purple one, and I made a purple using up the tail little bit of some yarn that I'll tell you about in a minute. And then I just kept the marl going with some scraps and did plain purple at the top. So that's really cute for someone who's either in love with purple or a little girl who likes colors like that. And then again, just finishing up with all my scraps. I have one in the multi at the bottom with the red, and I had some of the silver Patton's glam stripes to throw in there as the double. And I have the little beads there as well. So those are super easy. When you have big projects on the go, I love things like this that you get to finish sort of more than one in a sitting, and it doesn't take very long. And I'm looking forward to seeing what gifts end up in those over the holidays. So any questions, let me know. So speaking of things that have already left the building, that last gift bag reminded me, 2 sets that I've made since the last time I talked to you have already left the building. The first one was, the label just said Red Heart Super Saver on it, and I think the color I'll pop up at the bottom, and it's just a bunch of different pinks, and I'm popping up a picture here from you because I no longer had it, and it's, you know, little girl tween size, and someone I know wanted it for someone they know for Christmas. So that one is just a double crochet beanie in the spiral with a post brim for texture and a nice pink pom-pom. And the scarf, for my easy scarves, what I like to do is chain the desired length, and I test it out on myself, and then I just go back and forth. So single, half double, double, half double, double, half double, double, half double till I'm done, and then I end with half double single coming down at the end. That creates some texture in a scarf, and it's a nice easy make. So that was a set that went off. And then the other one came from the yarn I got from Rose, and one of them was a chunky yarn. So it was a, trying to remember here, what is it called? I love this yarn Chunky, and the name I'll have to put up on the bottom because I forget it right now, but it's gone as well. And my friend actually wanted it for herself, I believe. And I did the hat I talked to you about that I've kind of figured out off making the divine hats, where instead of keeping all your double crochets together so that you get that spiral effect of the divine hat, I kept my post stitches even. So you create like a little pie shape, but it still has nice texture. And I was successful getting it to end and come down into the brim with some texture this time. And the scarf I made the same way as I just described in the other one. So yeah, and those were already gone, and another picture was up there for you. So a couple of additional sets that were finished in October. So you'll see my little friend here, which should probably have a name, but it doesn't yet, is wearing something different this time. It's a head warmer I had made a couple years ago, and one of my girlfriends was interested in it for her niece as a neck warmer, and I said, well, let me check if I still have that yarn, and maybe I'll make, because she wanted a hat to go with, and I said I'll try to make her a hat. Well, when I got home I did have the yarn still, and I wanted just to make her a fresh set because I thought it would look nicer than, you know, this is intentionally thinner here so that it's still a very wide warm head warmer. So I wanted to make her one that was more even. So here is the little neck warmer I made. It's for about a 10-year-old. So I wanted to give her some wiggle room for when she grows. And I still had both the yarns. The fur is just one of those faux furs. I'll pop up the name for you on the screen. and it goes a long time. I only have one of these. I got them on clearance at Michael's last year, and I'm still going on it. I use it occasionally to trim, and so that's a nice little neck warmer for her. And then the hat is like that. So this is homespun, and it was on clearance at Lens Mills a couple of years back. It's got nice neutral colors in it and a nice little pom-pom on the top for her. So that will be going off shortly. Both of those are just very simple makes with double crochets. The hat is just that simple double crochet beanie pattern. For the neck warmer, I just went with the widest width I wanted first, and I did some decreases up so that I could get it to fit a little nicer around the neck for them, but there's still enough there that they could fold down if they want to. And I know kids can get funny about how warm they want to be, so I wanted to give some options there. I was thinking I might actually wear this poncho today, well, during my video, but still a little bit too warm in here for that. So I had made this during Carrie Penny's Spook Your Spring Mal earlier this year, and I will pop up a little video at the very end of this to show you me modeling it, which had appeared in a different video. I have gotten to wear it though, and so it's very cozy and it's fun for this time of year. It is a Halloween poncho that you can just wear because it's also just a cool looking poncho. So in case you're wondering why that was there, I just thought I'd have a little bit of a festive theme for this video, and that's why it's there. But if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. So when I was picking up some yarn on clearance at Walmart over my birthday, I had shown a set in white that was a tweed that had some navy blue as the accent color, and they only had one of those. It was Burnout Softy Chunky, but they had a ton of these ones. So it's black. Oh yeah, it's showing up pretty well on the camera. I wasn't sure how well we'd get. So just a couple of really basic beanies meant for some guys who need to be warm in the winter. And it's very, very reminiscent of the yarn that is in the sweater I made, but it's just a much, much thicker version. So those are just regular spiral beanies made intentionally in different shapes. So this one you're starting with a much smaller crown count, so maybe 6. And then this one is more traditional. Right? I usually start with 8 or 10 stitches for my crowns, but if you do them smaller, you're going to get that pointier crown. And big hooks, whatever the yarn says for the hooks for those. The other thing I'm dabbling with making is some gift bags for bottles of wine or bottles of other things that you want to show up to your holiday festive parties with. And I thought, I've made these in the past and I've used double-stranded, a lot of yarn goes into it, and I don't know how functional they are after the fact, so I thought that this was a bit of a different take on it. So it's a basket bottom held double with a 6mm hook. Just literally round enough that the bottle will fit. So you can make it a little bigger if you want options as to what you're putting in it. You can make it a different shape entirely. But this is nice and heavy duty at the bottom, so when you do put the wine bottle in, sure, this will stretch out because it's mesh, which I was going to get to next. But this part is nice and sturdy. So then I just did a traditional mesh stitch where I chain 5 and skip 3. And I did about 12 rows of that, came out of it, and then I created little handles, again doing it a bit more sturdy at the top. So this was sort of my prototype, and a few are going to other people who have requested them, so now I am making some in more of a gray sparkle color. What I'll do is I'll take a picture of it in a bottle, with a bottle on it, so that you can see a little bit nicer what it looks like, but at least you get a good sense of the crochet here. And the tie there, it's just a faux tie. I just put it there to make it look nice. The handles are what are actually functional. Any questions? Let me know. I'm not sure how much you can hear, but it is raining outside and I have the window open because it's still kind of warm. But yeah, it's a pretty rainy, gloomy day today, and I'll take it because tomorrow's Halloween, and probably the day you're seeing this is Halloween, and the kids at least will have a nice day to go out tomorrow, finally getting to go out for Halloween should they choose to do so safely. Anyway, I want to give you an update on the pink blanket. I actually let the person who wants the pink blanket decide, and we are going with single-stranded. It took me about another 3 tries, but I am just doing a regular rectangle granny. So here she is. Just the beginning stages. This is about 4 skeins in. And it is really quite funny how far the first skein goes, and then you feel like you're not going anywhere at all. But this will be a nice blanket once it is done. So working on that from time to time as time allows. I'm kind of trying to do the put one skein in a day plan for this so that I can get it done and off the plate. But yeah, that'll be nice when it's all finished. I have finally started my Christmas blanket, and I just received another birthday gift, and with that gift I decided to get some Mary Maxim sparkle yarn. I'm going to put a clip in at the very end to show you the yarn and something I have sort of fallen into after hearing about this tip from other people, but I'm finally putting the tip into practical application, if you will, with the Christmas blanket, or at least I did. And I'm not going to say more about it because I will actually show you that blanket next time when I've got a little bit more done on it. But if you want a sneak peek, that will be a little clip at the end. And then I guess the last thing I'll talk about is something that I have taken apart and redone. I had made myself a hug shrug last year to where, or it might have been the beginning of this year. It was definitely when it was cold out. And I had a bunch of the marled cakes that were clearanced out at Michael's. I am going to have to go back to the video where I made it originally to find the name of the yarn, but the yarn is discontinued, I'm more than sure, because I got it on clearance at Michael's probably almost 2 years ago. So I initially made this as a hug shrug, but it was much, much deeper than this. And it was too big for me, and I liked the idea of having it for over my coat, and it really worked well as I wore it that way a couple of times last year, and it was super warm, but I wanted to get more wear out of it, so I made it into something else, which I'll show in a minute. And the yarn I took off of it, I just made into a super long scarf. So this was sort of the last thing I made this month, just finished it. Not too wide, but I just kind of got to a point in the original fabric where I thought the colors went better if they were removed. And this is super, super long. But I'll show you on me what I have in mind for it. And one of the reasons it's so long is I was practicing a different version of a single crochet foundation row that I saw on, I'm not sure if it was on Instagram or YouTube. It is a video. If I can find it, I will link it. But it was a very different method. I think someone in one of the crochet groups had posted it, and that's where I found it from, the link. But it was very interesting. And the first time I tried doing it, I found that I had a hard time getting back into the stitches because it was really tight. But that was me. I was correcting on the one strand of yarn because you're actually doing 2 strands of yarn at the same time from the same ball. So I just was more practicing. So when it was getting long, I just didn't care. So now I am intentionally gonna pull up one side to make it shorter, so I can do all my wraps with the other side. So now I'm going to adjust the camera for you. Just one sec. Okay, so now this is basically just going to the tail end of my shirt there. And this is how I want to wrap it. I'm going to put the first one nice and tight to my neck. And then the next one. And then the last one. So now I have all the cowl and no, like, it's not claustrophobic, but it's super warm. Both my husband and I were wearing this on the couch last night just because I couldn't get over how warm it ended up being. And these are so my colors. So these are purples and teals and blues, and the yarn's marled to begin with, but it has a tiny bit of ice yarn, 2-weight black sparkle running through the whole thing. So not so sure how well the camera does that part justice. Doesn't look like it's doing a great job to me, but you get the idea. And so I will do much better with this than what it was originally. Also, part 2. One moment, please. So you might have seen a picture of me all bundled up like this at the beginning of the video. Well, this is what I have. So the rest of the fabric still had that twist in it because it is a hug shrug, right? And so this is what you will get if you want it or need it, if you want it on your head. And I can just put this back down now if I don't want it on my head, or I can pick it back up. And I will do the full assembly required part for you in a sec. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to how I got this. All right, so we're gonna let the twist fall on the front, keep the flat part in the back, because the flat part's gonna go here. Right, get it how you like it. And then we're just gonna go once over. And then just adjust it very slightly. So key to me with this is it's gotta be kind of big, because otherwise you're gonna feel, I don't know, unless you really like things tight fitted. This is warm, but it's got lots of leeway, lots of sort of stuff going on it. and it's the rest of that same project. So it's different colors. And yeah, and then this way, if I don't feel like it's, you know, if I'm not sure if I'm going to need a hat, I have options. So there it is. It's definitely the cozy time of the year. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Like I said, the only thing, I have those two big whips that are both blankets on the hook right now, and I have in mind to start something else from my Make 9. I'm relatively sure I'm going to get 8 of the 9 done. I'm not so sure I'm going to get the hoodie done. I think that might just have to carry over, and I think January might be a good time to make a hoodie, so I don't mind that too much. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. I hope you guys are all doing well. Happy Halloween to all those who are celebrating, and I will see you soon. Have a great day and happy crochet. Here come a couple clips. Bye for now.
Hey guys. Well, Shell, as you know, does not like counting stitches, and I just, for the first time ever, did a chain for a ripple blanket where I just chained the width I wanted, and when I got it as long as I wanted, I just chain 12 more so that I could make sure that if I had to rip back the full 12 stitches, because it's a pattern of 12 plus I think 3 at the end for turning, it could be 3 or 4, but I'm following Bella Coco's, which will be linked in the description box. So I've just gotten to the end of my pattern here. There's my decrease, there's my 3 stitches, and then you do 2 more stitches to go up at the very end. I call it up and down. There's my down. This will be my last up of my foundation row after the chain. And so I'll just unhook this, or untie this little knot here and undo my last few chains. And you can see that I was only off by a few, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. But that's how I'm doing it. So when it was the width I wanted, I made sure it was the width I wanted. Then I added another 12. So if I had to take out 12, I knew I would still be happy with the width, and I moved on from there. Just a little bit of a trick for not having to count a whole big long foundation chain row. And to celebrate, I am actually starting my Christmas blanket with this birthday gift I just received of Mary Maxim, Pound of Sparkle in gray. And I'll tell you more about this soon. Hi, Carrie Penny.